So following on from that get ready, where we saw different types of equations and how different numbers were invented, discovered, we came up to that trying to solve an equation where x squared was equal to a negative number. And I said we introduced a new type of number to solve that. We define that number. The number is, we could use the letter I, and we define I to be the square root of -1. And this is a new type of number. This means that we can square root negatives. And we can square root negatives by using this value I. Now we call it imaginary. But it's a number that we've constructed to solve a particular type of equation. It's not really imaginary. It's imaginary in the sense that it doesn't apply to counting numbers or to those kind of problems. But it is a number like any other type of number. It works in the same way as all our other types of numbers. We can add them, we can subtract them, we can multiply, divide. Everything we can do with whole numbers, we can do with imaginary numbers. It was introduced originally by an Italian mathematician as a way to reach a solution for cubic equations. And it was only a sort of stepping stone within a problem. The answers themselves weren't imaginary, but going through the process to get there, these imaginary numbers were required to solve that problem. And he didn't consider the square root of -1 to be a number the same way that we do today. It was just a stepping stone to get somewhere. But now we do. We know it is a number in its own right, and we can treat it like any other number. Now, given that this is a square root, all the laws of surds apply to it, and that is how we're going to deal with these imaginary numbers. We're going to use the ideas of the rules of surds, the laws of surds, to deal with these, to simplify numbers and write them in terms of I, and then combine and add and subtract and multiply these numbers. But the important thing is that I is a number. We use a letter to represent it, but it is a number. But we've seen that before. We know pi. We've seen E in this course. Those are both numbers that we use letters to represent, but they are numbers and they work just like any other number. And I, like those ones, is a number. It is an imaginary number, and we're going to see how powerful it can be as we move through the course.